Good afternoon or morning for some of you.
Hey Barrett. Hi everyone.
Hi. Oh, you can't see me. Hey, Maria. Hey,
Hi.
Amanda.
Hello.
Hi. And and Aisha, how's it going?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good, good, good. Lots of stuff going on in the practice actions world. But I'm happy to be here talking about client care mastermind. Yes. So I see Matthew is popping in. Hey, Matthew. I have you figured out the art of cloning yourself between now and last week? No.
Not a scientist.
Oh, wait, your audio is off, I think. What did you say?
I'm not a scientist.
I understand. Yes, I understand. People, even scientists are still waiting on this, but hopefully it's getting a little smoother. Actually, CW people, I think it's today that I'm meeting with Dr. W to kind of talk through some maybe solutions on Admira or things you can do differently, which will be fun. Yeah. So, Maria, long time no see. How are you?
Yeah, I'm so sorry I was out last week. We were short-staffed. Danny was on vacation and I got
Oh,
caught up on a few long client calls. I was supposed to attend Wednesday meeting, but I was too busy doing my stuff, so I'm really sorry for not attending.
oh, that is totally fine. That is totally fine. Yeah, I am glad you are here. It is the middle of June. I am wondering, what cartoons do you watch? If you watch cartoons, or what cartoons did you watch? I'm putting this in the chat. I never watched cartoons, but as a child, I watched Ren and Stimpy. Like, that's the one I remember. SpongeBob. Okay, very cool. I know SpongeBob. Anyone else? What cartoons do you have in your life? While I am pulling these things up. I'm putting up our tabs. Oh, where's the otter? We need the otter in here. You go ahead and fill those in. Oh, Avatar, The Last Airbender. Is this, should I know this? I should know this. It's got many hearts now. Well, I should really know this.
Yes, you should.
It's problematic. I need to go find out about that. Okay, the strong recommendations for that one. All right, I've got this up, and sorry, one more thing I wanted to find. Um, cool. Where's our community stuff? We had such a good discussion last week. We had Tina telling us about the Wellness Expo. Aisha was talking about using active listening to kind of de-escalate or talk to a I didn't mean de-escalate, but maybe de-escalate. Talk to a dysregulated person that was very, very distracted. So that was really cool. And we had and then we were talking about transferring therapists. And when therapists leave, transferring all their clients. So there was a lot of topics that came up last week. I want to let everyone know sometimes what I do if someone shares a really great strategy, is I'll put it in the tips and tactics area. So I always put the recap here of what happened in the meeting. And there is a link to the recordings as well. But then in the tips and tactics, I put some key strategies to help clients feel more comfortable during therapist transfer. So feel free to take a look at those. Those were completely born out of our discussion. Sometimes I use the otter to kind of do a recap, but I always make sure that it's accurate. And this was what I did with that one, and it seems like a lot of good tips came out of just you all talking with each other, which is exactly what I want everyone to do. Oh, the Emperor's New Groove. Very cool, Maria. That is very, very cool. Great. So I know we had a lot of different topics last week. People who have had the clients transferring, like therapists leaving, um, feel free to update us on how that has been going too. But let's just start with headlines and updates. Who wants to go first? KPIs, headline. Maria, how about you?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, last week we noticed that some clients were away on vacation, and we also received a good number of new inquiries. Thankfully, a few of our clinicians were able to open up some extra intake spots, and we've already filled those. We still have a few clients waiting to be scheduled, and I'm currently working closely with our clinical director to figure out the best way to support them as soon as possible. We also have a new clinician who is expected to start by the end of the month, and we're hopeful that once she begins, we'll be able to schedule more clients. So technically, the main problem again would be the intake spots.
The openings. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. But you said that I remember you saying you end up like emailing the
Yep.
therapist and you
Mhm.
email them and you kind of encourage them to open up spots.
Yeah, and that's the reason why they're opening spots weekly because they know how their wait list looks like.
Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah, because they know how their wait list looks like because you tell them.
Yep.
Nice. Maria, you sound very like persuasive but encouraging. That sounds like you're
Yeah.
persuading and encouraging them. Is that accurate?
I feel like sometimes I'm annoying them because I'm bugging them consistently about their wait list.
Oh, but I think it's kind of good. I mean, it's good for everybody, right?
Yep.
The
As
therapist,
long as we're getting people scheduled, we're good with that.
yeah, it's good for the clients. They get scheduled. It's good for the therapist. I think they make more money when they have more clients,
Yep.
typically. So, I mean, that's a good thing too. And then it's good for the practice. So, and it gets that off your plate. So I think that's good. Do you have KPIs or not? I think maybe not, right? Do you?
We do, but we're still trying to make a sense of it since Danny and I hasn't we haven't discussed this yet.
Okay.
So yeah, but technically that's the overview of last week since Danny was out. We're still we'll be having a meeting this week to discuss this one,
Yeah.
figure out if we've met our goals or if we needed to do something else to, to hit our numbers.
That's right. Yeah. As soon as I asked you, I was like, I think I remember that Danny needed to revisit that. So I
Yes.
So I'll reach out to her too. I know so it's helpful to know she has been on vacation. So we have our insights and analytics meeting for the leadership coming up. It's once a month on Thursday. So I will invite her to that, and see if she wants, I think she got an email inviting her to that earlier, but see if she wants to talk about that. Because I know it just wasn't the main focus. Hiring was the main focus.
Yep.
I wanted to ask you, it sounds like you're doing great with that. And I wanted to ask you um the wait a second. You are doing so great with that actually I didn't post this in the community, but Maria has won the contest for May, everybody. Maria won the
I
contest,
did.
yes, for the most people booked from the wait list. Yes.
I
So
was so happy.
yes, I wanted everyone to know that. I'm like, wait, it's a little bit late. I don't think I didn't post this in the community yet, but I will be sending you some sort of very little prize. Stay tuned for what that is, but good work on the wait list. You pulled the most people off, which is great.
uh, it helped a lot that we hired these clinicians, although they were part time. It really helped us bring down the number of people on the wait list.
Ah, okay. Well, congratulations. It's our first contest for Client Care Mastermind, and you won it. So great work on that.
Thank
Um,
you.
you're welcome. You're welcome. Hey, Aisha, how are you? I saw her just pop in there. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Welcome. We're putting in the chat what cartoons you watched, if ever, previously or now, which cartoons you watch. But we'll just keep going around. So our contest for this week, this month, it's the middle of the month. Sorry, I'm going to be sending this out earlier in the month. Is looking at conversion rates from last month and seeing if you can increase it by 3%. So or more, whoever increases it by the most percentage. So even if whether your practice gets a lot of inquiries or it gets a few inquiries, we're going by percentage. So that's why we're kind of focusing a little bit more on overcoming objections this month and figuring out like how to encourage people kindly to sign up for intake sessions. So that is the current contest that is going on. But yeah, so great work, Maria. We will stay tuned on the contest for this month. And next week, we're going to focus the whole group on just the topic is going to be just objections. Like when I say objections, I mean reasons people decide not to book and what are the different solutions we can come up with around some of those. So I'm going to make that the theme of next week's group. So just going on the regular routine, Amanda, do you have updates?
Sure.
Okay. How have things been going with you?
Really good so far. Let me get my screen pulled up here.
Yes.
Last week we got 23 new inquiries, so we got 47 total, 31 of which have booked, so that's awesome. And then we've completed 29 intakes so far this month, so we're we're looking strong to start at least. Hopefully we can continue that through the rest of the month, but only four marked as lost, and I'm working on we have our two new clinicians out in our Lake St. Louis office that are onboarding this week, so just working on getting them their caseload filled up. So busy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And that's really great. What are they going to do without you? Because I know you're going out for a little while, right? What are you doing? Do you think it's that switch on the website for the
I
book?
really think it is like it has been night and day difference just having potential clients schedule what time works best for them. I get more people on the phone, which means they actually convert to clients. So it's been working out very well for us so far.
That's really great. That's really great. And just to confirm, the 29 is out of 47, right? Like there were 47 new opportunities total and 29 of them
Correct.
booked. Okay.
Yes, correct.
Can you click over to the monthly goals tab for a second? Even if you don't have goals for June, I don't know if you do or don't, I think it'll show you the conversion rate. So for June, oh, you do have goals. If you look at line 14, row 14, you're at you're at a 66% conversion rate, which is really high.
Yay.
Yeah, I wanted you to see that number. Yeah, like 66 of the incoming inquiries were converted to booked. And then that's
Nice.
maybe different than converted to showed up. Hopefully
Right.
it's the same. Like hopefully it's the same, but that's very high. So that's great. And I'm sure your practice leadership has eyes on that, right? Do they know?
Yes.
Cool. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very sweet. Well, any other topics on your mind or events in the last week?
Not really. I think just kind of getting the new clinicians' caseloads filled up is kind of what's taken up most of my time so far. But yeah, just chugging along.
Yeah. So those are 2 new clinicians in Lake St. Louis, right?
Correct. Yes.
And if you guys hear me typing, I've now started a new sheet where I am going to type notes to myself so that I remember things when we talk. Um, great. Cognitive load. All right, well, let us know if you do have any questions. I'm reducing my cognitive load, which I think a lot of you understand because the cognitive load you hold is really heavy on a daily basis. So that's why I'm typing if you start to hear me typing. Yeah, nothing else, Amanda, right?
Nope, I'm good.
All right,
Thank
great,
you.
great work. You might win the conversion contest.
Hopefully, hopefully it
Yeah,
doesn't just start tanking at the end of the month, but
we just positive vibes. Yeah, it's very strong. And we're at the 17th, so yeah. Cool. How about Aisha, do you have updates for us? I'm sure you have updates. I don't know if you have KPIs though.
I don't think we have the KPIs yet because I think they're gonna start maybe this month with it. I'm not for sure. So I did have we had 11 inquiries this week. I mean this past week. And I have two that have already scheduled to take and one's completed, one's coming in today. One came in, one's coming in today. Um, and so that's pretty good because the week before we only had like four. So they
Yeah, I
are
heard that.
I'm getting a lot more calls and stuff direct to me, but they are kind of filling out on the website. So it I'm getting more just trying to like get them to complete their paperwork, which is the hardest part. Because I do reach out right after and then just trying to get them to finish the form with most of their history so that I can get that back is where I'm kind of stalling out for some people. There have been some that like same day I send it, they've opened it and turned it in the same day. So I've had some that have been turning around really quickly, and some where we're just kind of sitting with it, and I'm reaching out. But uh, we're I'm doing okay. So just trying to figure it out.
It sounds like it. Yeah. That's like a strong increase in the inquiries since last week. And
Hmm.
it sounds like you're having you're a hand in every step of the process so far on the way to the intake session.
Yes, been
Yeah.
trying to just to keep because some of them it is insurance that we don't carry since Blue Cross Blue Shield is a lot of people have that here, and we don't accept it. So, like I said before, it's just trying to get them to like be okay with either self-pay or try to um, make the prices kind of where we think they'll still come because they should come to us because we can help, but try to
Yeah.
figure out that delicate balance. So, yeah.
Yeah, that delicate balance of talking about private pay because
Hmm.
when you say they should come to you, it's kind of like you are the best fit for them in the area, probably. Like, is what you mean. Like the expertise at your practice is really specific to these families, right?
Right. Yeah. There we have a
Yeah.
few cases where it's like they could really help with them. We have one that's like a 3-year-old younger and is having some issues and really would like to see them, but I know it's going to come down a little bit to insurance because they have Blue Cross Blue Shield and seeing if we can get them to do a single case agreement, which is a really long process that I had no idea about. So we're kind of in the thick of it with them, trying to get them to approve it and get it. The parents are on board. It's just getting the insurance to also comply and help us out to get it completed so that she can come and see us.
I see. Okay. Okay. And like I'm gonna just I think it's when I look at the website of your practice, I feel like it's really specialized to trauma and families. So I just think it's nice for everyone to see, even though it's in our community, like what the name of everyone's practice is. I'm putting it in the chat so everyone can kind of see the website for the practice that Aisha works at. And you all, like each practice has very specific things that only you do. And then sometimes it's only your practice in that area. Or sometimes there's other practices that do the same thing, but your practice does it in a very unique way. I think trauma and families is one of the most difficult um, like cases to manage and onboard. So there's a lot of sensitivity involved, I imagine, with on, enrolling people in therapy, to say the least, as well as the insurance.
Yeah, especially like with the kids and there's divorce and the wanting to be seen. So it was a lot of moving parts that I did know when I started, but it's like putting it into action. It's like, they've separated and mom gets to make decisions, but dad needs to know, and we got to get dad to cooperate to get, so it's just like a lot of moving parts to get everything to where we can actually see the kids. So
Yes.
that something new.
Yeah.
Whereas like one parent is like on it, getting everything done, and it's like, oh, we got to loop in dad or whatever to actually get started. So
Right.
that's the part of
Right.
it.
No, it is. It is. And I know the laws are different in each state. And I know this from building workflows for like children's centers in California. And those are different laws than like children's centers in Massachusetts. So I know. Who else on this call, just raise your hand or say yes if your practice also deals with families or kids with trauma. CW, I thought you did. Yeah. Yeah. Amanda's and Marie, okay, everyone does deal with families and trauma. And I think your practice is specified in only that, right? Or is it also individuals?
Individuals as well,
Okay.
because we have some clinicians that prefer not to see children and family. They'll see the adult part of the family, and then we have some that like to work with the children more, and the dynamic if necessary. So we have someone for everyone, but yeah, we kind of see whomever, but that is the main kind of
The focus.
niche for, yeah, that's why the place was created, was for that specific.
Yes. Okay. Great. What about like custody? Does anyone else have the issue with paperwork and custody? You have to ask questions to the parents. Like anyone else in this call if you all see children, do you have that issue where you need to ask about if there's a custody agreement, make sure both parents sign paperwork? Does that happen? CW, do you guys deal with that?
Yeah, we do.
And do you have a strategy around that? Like, or is it kind of, you just have to reach out to both parents, or how does it work for you?
So on the paperwork that we have, we need either a signature from both parents or we need them to provide like the custody agreement or things like that that show that one parent has the ability to sign off on therapy without the other parent's agreement. Um,
Mhm.
And if we're having trouble with the other parent needing to sign because they do still have custody, but they don't want to sign, then yeah, it's a bit of a struggle. But we do try reaching out to both parents.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah. It can be a sensitive conversation, and you kind of know the parents want to get the kid therapy, but you have that legality to stick to of both signing. Yeah. That is a sensitive conversation, I would imagine. And Aisha, you are not alone in like getting jammed up on the paperwork side. Every practice, I'm sure, would agree that the paperwork is kind of the holdup on a lot of cases. Um, and just like I won't go into it now, but it's kind of like the classic problem of every intake process I hear is like the chicken or the egg. Do we allow them to book before they finish paperwork, or can we book and then we have to follow up for paperwork? What I will just say to you is I know you've got Admira as a CRM, and you can set up workflows where once you put them in the stage where you're waiting for paperwork, the CRM will email them, text them to remind them to complete that paperwork, and you can choose the intervals that those reminders go out. Did you know that?
Yes, that's already being used, but I do still like to call and talk to them if I can get them on the phone, because sometimes that has helped. But I've had a few people reach out after Admira has sent out a follow-up email, even though I've already sent it follow-up email, whatever. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I got a few. I got one yesterday and one today that because the Admira had triggered a follow-up hey, are you still interested kind of thing. They did reach back out and say, yes, sorry, I missed, you reaching out the last time, and got their information in. So still waiting
Oh,
on the next
cool.
step. But like, yes, we set that up, I think, I want to say last week, where it made sense for it just to go out. So
Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. That's you're doing it. That's great. That is exactly what it's for. Cool. Anything else, Aisha?
no, ma'am. I think that's good. Thank you.
Okay.
I did talk to Teresa about, was it Amanda had brought up last time, was it Thrizer?
Yeah. Was that what you
Yep.
said, Amanda?
Yep.
Was that, yeah. So she's gonna look into it with our insurance person, just to see if that's something that we can offer, but she hadn't heard of it. So thank you for that. To
Yeah.
see if that something that we can use with Mentea for have Blue Cross. That's what they use it for right now.
Mm,
Awesome.
okay, great. Great. And then Matthew, tell us your updates. How has it been going?
Well, I am currently in the kitchen. This is
Oh,
the
you're in the kitchen.
refrigerator. This is the
Ah.
refrigerator right here.
Ah.
Um, but also, okay, if I ever cut out, just let me know.
Okay.
Regardless, I, well, my last week was a little rough because I ran out of my ADHD medication. But I got it updated on Saturday, and then I had the most productive day of my entire life on Sunday. I was killing it. I
Oh
was
my gosh.
I scheduled intakes. I reached out to uh I reached out to several more people to about intake appointments, left voicemails, sent emails. I like resolved like five billing things at once. It was
Okay.
crazy. I was like absolutely like I couldn't be stopped. So that was good. But then and I guess I'm a little more back to normal today. But I have been let's see, I have been doing pretty good about keeping up with things so far. There's a couple more things that I intend to see to after this.
Mhm.
And but Yeah, I have my time blocked off for the copays, and I was following up with clients about billing things earlier, so I think I'm in the groove now. I think there's only like a few more things that are still like I'm still kind of getting used to, but and I know that's vague, but like I think compared to before, I don't think I
Mhm.
need the clone anymore, but maybe I do. I don't know. Maybe the clone would still help, but
It
yeah.
sounds like you're in the zone. That's
Mhm.
really good to hear that things are feeling more manageable, even though they're
Yeah.
not less intense.
Yes. I
You're
I don't get filled with dread when I see the phone ringing anymore.
That's huge.
But
That's
mhm.
huge. Yeah. And like, yeah, that systems matter and just being in your zone, however you get in your zone. Like for you, you got in your zone on Sunday and you were like
Yeah.
flying, right?
Hmm. And
And
yeah,
then predicting.
yeah, today a client called and it was like, "Can I talk to someone from billing?" And I was like, "I think I can help you." And I could, as it turned out. So,
Ah, okay.
yeah, that was nice to like feel like, oh yeah, they called me and I was the person they wanted to they wanted to speak to, and I was able to help them. So that that's happened a couple of times in the past week. So I've that's been nice, and they're like, "Thank you so much for your help." And I just yeah, that's what I live for. That's what I live and breathe for.
Mm. Yeah, I remember you saying like how frustrating it was when you have someone on the phone and you actually can't solve their problem.
Yeah, exactly. I still
Yes,
can't always solve everybody's problem, and sometimes it requires a couple more steps, but
of
they're
course.
yeah. It like just like being able, like, they call, they have an issue, I have a solution, right? That's that's nice. Uh
Yeah, yeah. Of course, it's not going to happen every time, but it's good to
mhm,
be able to do that for somebody. Yeah,
yeah.
good.
Mhm.
That is awesome to hear. Those are great updates. And then do you have KPIs? Aisha, were you tracking the KPIs?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
So it looks like we got 26 new inquiries this week, and we didn't book anyone from those. But we did take a couple people off the wait list for the MMAT study. I think we told you all about that before. And we did also book a few intakes from previous month's inquiries. I updated the numbers for those. They went up a little bit.
Oh,
Um,
good.
but yeah.
Oh, that was very cool. So that's actually a nice strategy. So you're retroactively updating them if
Hmm.
for the previous month. Yeah. Because the report is still going to pull based on the date they were created, and then you can go and update those
Yeah.
to see those. Okay, so let me see. So June, May. Okay, great. I think this is so much progress since we first your practice started coming to this group because you're now clear on the numbers.
Hmm.
Right? Which I think is a huge win because I don't know before you started working with the practice if, I know the team expanded rapidly, the client care team, and I don't think that Dr. W had clarity on what these numbers were before. So really good job tracking them because
Yeah.
this really matters. It doesn't matter like what the numbers are, it matters that they are true, and then the practice can like point its attention towards where it's needed based on the
Mhm.
numbers. So this is great tracking. Yeah.
Awesome.
Any other events, A- Aisha, or updates from this week?
I had a bad migraine for the entire week, so I did not get a lot done. So, especially on Sunday, I was like, I did not do anything. So, thank you, Matthew, for holding down the fort. Um, but yeah, it's been a slower week. We have two front desk people who are leaving at the end of the month, so I'm a little nervous about the workload that'll come onto the rest of us after that, but I will also be leaving in the middle of July. Um, so hopefully we can get some new people on the front desk by then, but yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's a
coming
big
up.
update. Yeah.
Hmm.
So when are you leaving like or on vacation or you're switching away from the practice?
I'm switching away from the practice because I got a internship for the field that I intend to be in, which is environmental.
Cool. Okay. Okay, cool. So congratulations on your internship.
Thank you.
And so between now and then, two people are leaving, so that would be an increase in workload. And so that is a valid concern because there's multiple people in place. Um, and so when you're Matthew, you and Aisha, you're working together, and then there are two other people, but how much longer will they be on your team?
So Alana and Brianna are leaving at the end of June, and
Okay.
then Marlena will also be leaving at some point for maternity leave. I don't know when she's planning on leaving though.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then there's like 2 weeks to kind of redistribute,
Hmm.
um, yeah, responsibilities. And it's just really nice how you two are tag teaming. Like if you weren't feeling well and then Matthew's like soaring in this zone. So that is great. And everything around the centralized operations, which is great.
Hmm.
Yeah, those are big. Thank you for sharing that. Those are big updates to know so I can help support your team.
Yeah,
Great. Anything else from CW?
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, I actually wanted to ask CW, it won't, CW and ATC of Houston. Did I say it right? Yes. I think I did. Aisha's practice and Maria's, you're all either on Admira or switching to it. And I think my main question was for Maria. Have you heard anything from, is there any way we can support you in that switch? Because have you heard anything from Danny about kind of doing that switch from practice access to Admira? Is there any support you need around that? I know your team is not switching for another week or so.
She or Danny told me that she might need to have a meeting with you first, before she can discuss things with me.
Okay, so you're still status quo as it is on practice access.
Yep, we're still good using it as of now, but I believe at the end of the month we'll be switching to Admira. So after the meeting with Danny, we'll be having like a training on how to use Admira, and then after that we'll go live.
Okay, good. Yes, and I don't want that's good. I just wanted to know if there was anything you needed me to touch base with her about. I mean, I'll do a meeting with her because at the end of June, you'll have the possibility to switch. It'll be ready for you to switch, and then you can, at your own pace, switch throughout July, and I can help with that. And that's also true for CW. Like by the end of June, it'll be available to switch, but you can use July as a transition month. And we will work on a plan together for that. Yes. So I was gonna ask you, like, I put a new challenge in here. There was also an exciting question I had that came up while Maria was talking earlier, and I can't remember what it was. It was about follow-ups, but it wasn't about incoming follow-ups. It was, oh, I know what it was. Let me ask you this question first. Um, so before I get to the challenge in the online community, when you follow up with in people who have come in for therapy, like who have inquired for therapy, do you feel the tension between like not wanting to bother them slash wanting to let them know you care? Like, how do you feel about that? Because it there's different practices now and different standard practices. Like, so how do you, Matthew, you are nodding your head. Like, how do you toggle that balance?
By doing what I do in my personal life and being overly apologetic. Um,
Okay.
like I always like I'm always worried that I'm like bothering people, like especially if they like are getting like way too many automated notifications and reminders. Just like I mean, most of the time when like I outreach to people, they don't pick up and I'm just leaving a voicemail. So I'm
Mhm.
like, hey, just so you know, I just try to like, be as like I mean, I don't want to say not pushy because like things still need to happen, right? Like there has to be some kind of progress after each outreach, but uh kind of I try to what are my like specific strategies? Like I mean I yeah, I mean being like kind of apologetic is like part of it. Like I outreach someone and say I'm like sorry for bothering you about this, but we just need this, right? And just like it
It's,
basically I'm not I guess not trying to be their friend, but like just trying to be nice about it, I guess. But uh
yeah.
that like yeah, I mean like a lot of times there's also uh like clients feel like they're bothering us, right? And
Oh,
I'm like that's interesting because like I never feel that way, right? That the clients are bothering us. So like I'm always quick to reassure them, don't worry. It's fine. You're not bothering us. Like there are no stupid questions. I have answers, right? So or I can get answers
yeah.
sometimes. So, but I mean, I feel like that's part of the flow, right? Of just like having endless patience, I guess. Because like and it's like like it's the same thing with wild animals where they're more afraid of you than they are of than you are of them. Well, um chances are if you're reaching out to a client, they feel like they're causing you some kind of inconvenience as well a lot of the times
Uh-huh.
is
Like
what
it
I'm
can go
finding.
both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get
Like they're
what,
like, "Oh, oh, I'm sorry for not filling out the paperwork. I had this, and this, and we're like, no, it's fine. We just want to know that you didn't just forget about it, or just like just we're here in case you need anything. You can ask us questions anytime. We just want to make sure that you got it, everything's good, and you're gonna um be able to follow up soon. So
That's
yeah.
it's all about the tone, right? Like,
Hmm.
yeah, that's a nice tone to deliver it in, and that
Yeah.
you err on the apologetic tone, right? But it's like it's just however we each do it, it's about letting them know you're human too. Like you're human and you care about them. Yeah, because I was
Yeah.
talking to a practice that thank you for sharing that. Because I was talking to a practice owner the other day and she's like, now we can add a lot of little follow-ups. I know Amanda has a really robust follow-up system. And I think over the years, it's changed how much, texts are invasive. Like we get texts from a lot of things. So sometimes the texts are super helpful. And if you're texting or emailing someone that's very busy, they appreciate that reminder to like bump that up on their to-do list. So of course everyone feels differently about it, but it's not a random text from like, buy now, going soon, 50% off. Like it's not that kind of a text, right? Or email. It's because they reached out to you, and sometimes they can let them know that you care. Yeah. So I was just wondering about like that feeling of are you bothering them? I think it was because Maria, you said you feel like you're bothering the clinicians to open up spots, and I was thinking like, well, that helps everybody. It helps the clinicians. It helps the client. Like, but it kind of feels like you're quote unquote bothering. So I think it's important what you do, and I think it's not a bad thing to be communicative, like to communicate. And people can always unsubscribe, or people can always tell you I'm not interested, or this is too much. But I think it's nice to err on the side of um, following up more frequently so people know you care. And it's not the other thing is, have the practice owners ever talked to you? There's something else very unique about your role. You're not dealing with customers, right? You're not dealing with just custom, even though there's a lot of like client relationship building. The other thing that's really unique is people are coming for help and they may be experiencing anxiety or a variety of clinical symptoms that even show up in the way that they schedule with you, right? They like the presenting issues that they're coming to therapy for may correlate with their behavior around scheduling. And I'm not a therapist and I don't teach on that. But what I'm wondering is does that topic ever come up at do your practice owners ever talk about how the person's symptoms may impact the way they relate to the client care to you? Does that type of discussion ever come up?
Yes, for us.
Yeah? What has been brought up about that? Like the little they what kind of what has been brought up about that?
Jen would always tell us that people with or clients with anxiety would usually avoid phone calls because the phone ringing would sometimes trigger their anxiety. So what we do is that we set up a system that allows clients to schedule a call with me at a time that works best for them, and I always try to connect when they feel most comfortable and ready to talk. So I included that link on my signature or on my email signature. So when I feel that, oh, they're not ready to respond yet, I just send them the link and they would usually schedule a call with me whenever they're comfortable. I'll show you how it looks like. It's through Acuity and
Uh-huh.
it's also on our website.
Cool.
The This is what we use for, for clients who doesn't really respond to us.
Oh, it's in the chat. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay. That is a beautiful accommodation. Like it's a this that's the exact type of question that I had was, this is an interesting accommodation to think about how someone with anxiety may not want to just like schedule and talk at a random time when you call, that it's better to schedule than talk at a random time. That
Yeah.
is very cool. So you have this link. And I think that's similar, and I know a number of practices have the ability to schedule, but I haven't heard that like reason just taking their anxiety into consideration about their scheduling preferences. That is very nice. Does anyone else have an example like that? That was a stellar example. Just curious. It's just something to kind of be aware of. It's a nice awareness that you have of how that experience is. Another one that I've heard at practices is regarding paperwork. Some practice owners, there's a spectrum of businessy side versus clinical, let's call it, like business and clinical. The practice owner always has to make this choice with policies. So we have on one side the like if you there are some practices that decide to cancel the intake session if the paperwork is not filled out before the intake session by a certain time. It'll be canceled. Other practices will not cancel the intake session, but they kind of risk like an intake session happening without the paperwork being done, which can border on legalities. But it's overwhelming for some clients to complete that paperwork on their own. So everyone lands in a different place with their policy setting around that. Um, so like the very best thing for business is maybe hold them accountable and cancel the session, but maybe that's not the best thing for the way that an individual feels total overwhelmed by the paperwork. It could just be a barrier to getting the help they need. And I don't have an answer for it. I just hear from different practice owners about this conundrum and how they solve it. And everybody solves it differently. So, yeah. Do you, so the paperwork stuff is just the classic problem of intakes is how do we get the paperwork done to get the intake scheduled? Cool. Well, uh, this feels like a very full discussion already. We have like some really great success on Amanda Zen from high conversion rate this month. And a lot of people booked from the wait list, which was great in the area. Like, wait, it's Normal, Illinois, in the Mental Wellness Center, Maria. And a lot of kind of progress thinking about like you have a lot more intakes coming in right now, Asia, a lot of like inquiries coming in, and then real good clarity on the numbers for CW, which is great. And I think it is going to be a challenge having staff switching, but I think that it's an opportunity to streamline. And so I look forward to kind of supporting you guys around that. Yeah, I think I'll just end by showing you this challenge area. I wanted to ask you this week, what are, other than availability, what unique challenges do you face when you're booking couple intake sessions? So this week, hop into this community, go grab your challenge. I think it gives you like a countdown of the days. And the way you complete the challenge is you just make a comment. I think some of you know this. You just make a comment and then the challenge is completed. So hop in there right after this or sometime this week, and just let us know. So we'll talk about that next week. But mostly what we're going to talk about next week actually is the overcoming reasons for not booking. So just to end, let's go around and I want to hear like the toughest reason for not booking, like the toughest objection that you hear, just like from each practice. Maria, go ahead.
The time won't work for me.
Okay. The time slot. Can't change time. Can't change mother or father time. Okay. How about Aisha? Oh, maybe she's in the middle of something else. Matthew, what's one of the toughest ones you hear?
Like that we hear from like clients or just like in general why we can't book someone.
Hear from clients.
Hear from
What?
clients. Well, I mean, honestly, the main problem is usually unresponsiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so just we're trying to schedule somebody or transfer somebody or something, and then we just cannot get a hold of them under any
Yep.
circumstances. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I guess it's not so much something that they are telling us, but what they're not telling us.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And then Amanda, how about you? What is the toughest one?
Probably it's too expensive or I need insurance.
Yeah. And Aisha, we've had some doozies here. You might agree with some of them. What's the
A lot of those are the ones that I'm finding, but paperwork, I guess, as well, is that I can't have them placed with anyone until a lot of that is done because we need to know about them in order to find a clinician that, works. So having
Yeah.
them complete that part is probably hard, as well as the money part, insurance part.
Yep, definitely. So like the top ones are like the availability, unresponsiveness, or they don't want to pay out of pocket or the clinician they want doesn't have their insurance or um they don't or the client doesn't have insurance and it's expensive. Yeah. Would it be helpful to have some like key language to guide these conversations? Would it be helpful to have some like scripts or strategies to say back to the clients in order to encourage them to book or at least try to place them in some way? Would that be helpful if I dispense that and we share
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So that's going to be the focus for next week. And so it'll be not the same format, and we'll do that. Now, if there's anything else that you think of that you would love strategies on, because we have only an hour at a time, like let me know. Kind of like, ooh, we really need to work on like, training new people when they join our team, or oh, we really need to work on figuring out like this clinician like how to communicate when a clinician is onboarding, how to communicate to the client that they're not ready to see them yet. Whatever the topics are, let me know what would be the most helpful for you to get actual concrete resources and strategies on. Um, anything that comes to mind, let me know here or in email or the community. But we'll focus on that next week. Okay. Awesome discussion this week. I will talk to you next week. Maybe I'll talk to the practice owner or Danny at Maria's practice. I'll definitely talk to Dr. W later today. And we have our leadership meeting on Thursday. So maybe I'll see Steph there from Amanda's practice. But we'll keep the conversation going. Think of me as like this conduit between the practice owner and you and everything that's going on. But I appreciate you all. Let me know how I can be helpful with strategies, and I will see you next week. You get 5 more minutes of your day back. Yay! We all need it. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. See you next week.